Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Star Wars.
Bran, why did you just start doing like aerobics there?
It was the double lightsaber.
Oh, hi, I'm Ryan, and I like Star Wars.
I'm Dan, and this is Phantom Menace is technically Star Wars, and this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, boy.
It's great to be back.
Hi.
This is what everybody has been waiting on.
It's Friday
right here?
already.
It's all led to this moment where Deck the Hallmark records the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
We did it.
This is, no, not yet.
This is peak DTH. We set out on a dream way back in 2018, and we said one day we're going to record for video and audio the Phantom Menace recap review. And here we are. We made it.
Brandon, did you ever think the first Jake Lloyd vehicle we would review on Deck the Hallmark was Phantom Menace and not Jingle All the Way?
It's a great point. It's a great point.
I don't want to give away my hot
For a
take, but
great
I can't
career.
imagine watching this kid act in anything else.
Okay, fine. If we're going there, I'll go there. I thought he was pretty good.
What?
I don't think he's that. I didn't think he was that bad.
I thought it was
didn't think he
overhyped.
that bad.
I thought it was overhyped.
I didn't
It
think
was
he
You
was that
have
bad.
lost your mind.
It was overhyped.
You know, I don't
If
think he's
I'm
that
gonna
bad in
hear-
Jingle All the Way.
Not
Not a bad actor.
You want to know who's about? You want a worse actor is his mom.
No, well,
His mom's a worse actor
His
than
mom
Jake.
is-
Not in real
Honey?
life.
Ani?
Honey?
his mom, unfortunately, was an extra they found on the back lot somewhere when they realized they'd forgot to cast someone in that non-emotional part of the leads. If you had said anyone other than him, I would have lost it. I would have lost it. Well, we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
We'll just keep. You're not going to hear me say a bad word about Natalie Portman for the next 3 weeks or ever in my life. Natalie Herschlag is maybe the best actress we have, but man, they didn't do any favors here. No favors were done.
No
here.
favors are done for anyone here. That's true. Absolutely true.
I'm excited to dive into it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Ryan, let's talk kind of like
Happy fall. Oh no, happy fall.
happy
Yeah,
fall
happy
to you as
fall,
well. Thank
everybody.
you. Pumpkin
Yeah.
spices are out.
Thank you. They're not. Are they out at Starbucks?
I believe they're out at Starbucks. I believe they come out this week. They came out this week, I believe. I think it was the 22nd.
Did we all go in? We
all
all went.
went.
We
We all
had a
went.
bevy.
Yeah, I think the 22nd.
Yesterday, we all went to the Bucks.
Starbucks. Yeah, that's right. And
I'm
we
calling
had,
it the Bucks. We're gonna see how it goes.
top 5 favorite fall things. Ryan, go. Diss list. Mini diss list.
The foliage.
Okay. That's a good answer.
Football's back.
Okay, good
Yeah.
answer. Good answer.
School supplies.
School supplies is ahead of fall foliage and
No, these are
football.
in no particular
He'll
order.
play
Oh, it's
some,
fuck the
School
one-
supplies is on your list.
What does that mean?
You
Like
don't-
just
Well, Alyssa and I were shopping the other week, and she's like, you know what? It just makes me feel really good to see the school supplies stuff. It brings back fond memories. And I said, if you're happy, I'm happy. So
Here
make my list.
in the South, that happens in late June. So you know,
School
we,
supply-
yeah.
So that was three.
You got nothing.
Halloween is
nice.
cool.
Good answer.
Yeah.
We got our costumes already picked out. We're gonna be Wolverine, Deadpool, and Dogpool.
I love it.
It's cute.
And the fifth is the rest is still unwritten.
Staring blank
the
page
page
before you. Open up the dirty window. Let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions. Man, crushed it.
School
That's what the delay.
School
That's what
supplies.
listen, guys. Brent, you know, if this is your first time watching Deck the Hallmark, Brent comes up with these cutesy intro topics. You never have any time to prep.
No.
And then
what?
you get.
You didn't talk about like any like
you're getting a lot of
baked
love.
goods.
You're
or
getting a
anything
lot
like
of
that.
love in the chat, and it's because people like you, Ryan. Because that was one of the worst answers I've ever heard. School supplies
The way
in
that-
the
Hey.
stores.
The way that pencils are
You haven't
readily
needed
available.
school supplies in a decade. You don't have any kids. What are you talking about?
This is coming from a former principal.
Yeah.
Aaron, you seem very
What's wrong?
passionate about
I love
this.
school supplies.
God almighty.
Yeah.
No,
But
these
they're
people-
just
no.
supplies.
Yeah.
They're just
If
supplies.
if I had said school supplies, it would have been just a rain of hate.
We love school supplies.
No.
They're
This
off.
is-
my
this
We're
is just
adults.
'cause of
My
how
Q
great
ratings
you are.
through the roof.
They're
My Q
office
ratings through the roof.
supplies.
My man didn't say any sort of pumpkin spice anything, didn't say anything about cookies or coffee, nothing. My man went with school supplies. Boo.
School supplies making your top
Hey,
5
Aaron.
list?
Aaron,
Boo.
happy
Top
belated
5.
birthday, Aaron. Happy belated. I'm going to
too.
get you a 3-ring binder.
Oh my
Happy
gosh,
belated.
I'm so excited. Thank you.
Aaron,
I'm
you're
so excited, I'm so
Aaron,
scared.
Aaron,
Boo.
school supplies making your top 5 favorite things about fall list?
Come on, Aaron. No way,
Be
no how.
honest. Be
School
honest.
supplies on clearance by the time you get to October. I mean, there's just a
But
lot to
fall,
like there.
guys, thank you. Summer,
Apple
caramel
cider
apples,
donuts.
apple cider donuts. Fall. We didn't say favorite thing about the second half of
Going
the year
apple picking.
or Target in August. We said favorite things about fall. School supplies. Get out of here. It's ridiculous.
I'm ready to dive in on Phantom Menace.
Okay. You guys can talk about school supplies after the show. Just go nuts. You can talk as long as you want to. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. What's it mean?
It's about taxes. It's not about taxes, actually. It's just Darth Maul. This whole movie, we can go ahead and get one of these out of the way. Out of the way right now. This whole movie is named after a character that's on screen for 12 minutes and dies unceremoniously by getting cut in half. It's not about Anakin Skywalker as a child. It's not about Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's not about galactic trade and taxes. All of those things would be better names than the Phantom Menace. It's one of the worst names in cinematic history.
Well, it's a
bad
great name. It's a great name.
It sounds awesome, but it's not what this movie's about.
He was cooking when he put
He
those
was
two words
cooking.
together.
He was cooking. The movie isn't about it.
I literally never even thought about the name until right now.
Yeah, it's a terrible name.
Well, most people just call it Episode 1, right? Very rarely in the wild
better-
do
I
you
mean,
hear people call it.
Top
5.
5 better names. Star Wars Episode 1, The Princess Switch-em-ups.
Princess Switch-em-ups would be good. Princess Switch would be a great one.
Princess Switch is
Princess
great.
Switch would be a great one for sure.
Yeah. That's where they got the idea for the movie.
Baby Vady.
Baby Vader.
Episode 1,
That's
Baby
right.
Vady. That's right.
Star Wars Episode 1, Yippee.
I was just about to say Yippee.
These are
Yippee.
I was just about to say Yippee.
You guys think he didn't do a bad job. That's hysterical.
Star Wars Episode 1. It's working. Like, these are all good ideas. These are all good ideas. Originally premiered in the theaters May 16th, 1999 in Los Angeles.
Grauman's Chinese Theater?
It doesn't say, it just says Los Angeles.
It probably was, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let me see. So
Almost
release.
Jake Lloyd's handprint in the cement, you know.
He was so excited about being a movie star.
Yippee!
Yippee! Okay.
Even the Mario brothers think that doesn't work.
May 19th, 1999 is when it came out to everybody else, not in Los Angeles. And it went a little something like this. Let's talk trade, y'all. The Trade Federation is causing chaos by secretly blocking off Naboo and is preparing for big invasion. The Galactic Republic's top boss sends Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn and his sidekick, Young Ben, also known as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Young Ben.
Young Ben.
To have a chat with the Federation's grumpy leader. But surprise, Palpatine, remember him? He is there, but younger. He looks way better. Amazing skincare routine.
We
Amazing.
shouldn't put those pieces together if we don't know.
Right, but
He's supposed to be a good guy.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Palpatine, who the Jedis don't realize is actually a sneaky Sith. I wrote that down.
Good.
Tells
Be a
him.
better name, by the way, the Sneaky Sith.
Episode 1, the Sneaky Sith. Exactly.
That's pretty good. Tells him to get rid of the Jedi and unleash an army of clunky old battle droids. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan managed to escape by moving super fast, a force feature that I was unaware of at the time, and I was blown away. I went back and watched it. I was like, wow, why they move so fast? And then I was like, oh yeah, the Force. They crash land on Naboo. They're like, man, that was crazy how we got attacked by camp. Like, what happened? That was wild. There's
I
nuts.
thought this was just about trade.
Yeah, I thought it was just a trade situation. Also, we've gotten rid of the Sith. Like, there's no Sith.
That's right. Yeah, the Sith hit the fan.
Better title.
Better
title.
The Sith hits the fan.
Qui-Gon befriends a fellow named Jar Jar Binks. He's a goofy but beloved character, I'm sure, who's basically the galaxy's biggest walking disaster. They try to get help from Jar Jar's boss Nass, but ends up letting Jar Jar just... You go, Jar Jar. Get out of here. We don't want you around. To help them reach Naboo's capital and rescue Queen Amidala. Their fancy spaceship gets beat up by all this stuff, and so they land on a dusty planet called Tatooine. Qui-Gon, Jar Jar. It's so hard for me to read this and not saying
I
Weird Al.
thought me and Qui-Gon
Yeah,
Jinn.
it's tough. It's tough. Everything I know about Star Wars, I learned from Weird Al.
Talk the Federation. You should have just played that song.
I know.
For the
It would
recap.
have. Yeah, it would have been great.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon, Jar Jar, and Padme, who is Queen Amidala, but she's disguised as one of her servants is exactly right. They head into town, and they meet this grumpy old junk dealer and his young slave, one Anakin Skywalker, who is a genius at fixing stuff, good at building pods, might be quite the racer one day.
Yeah.
Surely not now.
Where do you think he stacks up midichlorian-wise?
The number does not
I don't
exist.
want
The
to
school
speculate.
supplies do not exist that are
it's
able
high.
to quantify that.
It's
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
It's high. I know
Yeah.
that much. And Qui-Gon, gets those numbers, and he just goes nuts. He's, wow, these numbers is crazy.
Midichlorians.
I just got the DNA test. Turns out 100% that
That's
Jedi.
Sith.
Oh, that's Sith. Okay, yeah.
Sith's
yeah.
better.
Yeah, Sith is better. So Anakin takes a liking to the crew, starts hanging around with them, and Qui-Gon thinks that Anakin might be, quote-unquote, the chosen one because of those numbers that Dan brought up, and might fix the Force. So he bets everything. He bets on it and for Anakin to win the pod racing contest. He's never won one, much less finished one.
And,
he hasn't
yeah.
finished one, much less won one.
But midichlorians.
Yeah, hot.
Yeah.
And basically he makes a deal. If he wins this race, you got to let him go with me. Leave his mom behind. Again, don't care. She was an afterthought to begin with, but would definitely need Anakin to come with us. And he wins. Big race, big fun. He wins.
Yippee!
Yippee indeed, Ryan. As they're about to leave, Darth Maul, Phantom Menace, who I'm finding out is his
aforementioned Phantom Menace.
also what he is known by.
That's right.
He's the baddie of the movie, and they don't really know where he came from. Again, Sith gone. Sith hit the fan. They're supposed to be gone. This guy clearly is Sithing out a little bit. Shows up. They fight a bit. Qui-Gon is able to get out of there after some lightsaber dueling, and it's like, man, what's up with that guy? He kind of came out of nowhere. Also, those horns. What about those? Palpatine, yeah, that Palpatine, hashtag, yeah, that Palpatine, persuades,
Better title.
yeah,
Not my
hashtag,
Palpatine.
Persuades Amidala to call a vote of
No confidence.
for the or as I say, the vote of for the current counselor. The vote removes them from power and leads to Palpatine's nomination for the position. And that's good. We, at the time, we're like, this is great. This guy rules.
Yeah. Looking out for people.
That's exactly right. He loves the people. After this happened, Amidala realizes that she listen, boots on the ground. You gotta be boots on the ground here. Qui-Gon, what's that? Boots on the ground. Qui-Gon goes before the Jedi Council and says, hey guys, you're not gonna believe I got a DNA test. Annie, as I call him, what you can call him whatever you want to.
Annie, are you okay?
Are you okay?
Nah, my midichlorian's through the roof,
It's
y'all.
through the roof. And the Jedi Council is like, yo, maybe don't. This could mess things up. Especially especially our guy Yoda. Big Yoda, not
Big
Baby
Yoda.
Yoda.
No, not Baby Yoda.
But he's
Try
a better.
explaining that to an 8-year-old.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Saying what? Big Yoda is like, hey, don't have a good sign about this or a good feeling about this. And once again, no one cares what Yoda advises. Once again, everybody's like, I hear what you're saying. My way's better. And so reluctantly, the training of Anakin Skywalker is approved. Padme and the crew head back to Naboo, where she's revealed her true identity and convinces Jar Jar and his crew of Jar Jar like. Thank you. I didn't know what they were. I said Jar Jar like.
Yep.
Jar Jar like
and his crew.
To join them in the battle, and they're like, friends, this is amazing. Jar Jar is now leading the people, as he should, rightfully, against the droid army. Meanwhile, Anakin gets in I don't know if you know this, he can fly. So he gets in this little
And
ship
initially,
here.
it's on automatic pilot.
It's on automatic.
Yes.
Stop taking my weight away.
sorry.
It's on automatic pilot, and he starts zipping around, but he's able to get off of it, and he is able to blow up the droid control ship. Amazing.
Yeah.
This is amazing. While all that's happening, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan get into an epic battle with Darth Maul. You might be wondering, 2 against 1. What's even the point here? Well, Darth Maul is a double lightsaber, and it is awesome. He is the Phantom Menace after all. And that double lightsaber is indeed menacing. Darth Maul hits Qui-Gon with the huh, and it's not looking good for him. Obi-Wan, it's not looking good for him, but remember, he's young Ben, so he's able to pull himself up, throw up, grab the
He throws up. Oh,
like
my
throw
goodness.
himself
I got
up,
it, got it.
force the lightsaber into his hand, vroom, and he cuts Darth Maul in half, falls to his death. Boom. Qui-Gon, about to die, says, hey, you got to promise me you will finish the training that I'm so far into this training. Finish it with Anakin. It's going to be great, and all that good stuff. The heroes celebrate with a big party, and Jar Jar gets a trophy for being best of the year. And that, my friends, was Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Yippee! We did it.
I'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll break this movie down here on Deck the Hallmark. Welcome back, everybody, to Deck the Hallmark. It is Force Fridays, and we are already back to the beginning.
That's right.
Star
Prequels.
Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I was very excited to give this one a watch. It had been a while, but it's also like I think along with Ryan, 1, 2, 3, I've actually seen more than 4, 5, 6 because of when I
Did you see this in the theater?
I don't think I did see this in the theater. I think the first Star Wars movie I saw in the theater was 7.
7. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just it didn't happen.
Force Awakens,
Yeah.
first one you saw in the theater.
That's right.
Right, guy. Did you see this in the theater?
As best I recall, no, I did not see it in the theater. Yeah, but I did see, I believe I'll see every film after this I saw in theaters, starting with Episode 2. I never missed another.
But as children who this movie was made for in 99, it's going to be fun to talk about it. We're going to start with a hot take. We're going to share our thoughts on this movie now that we've watched it in 2024. Ryan, your thoughts? Phantom Menace, go.
Yeah, it's hard to articulate just how big of a deal this was. I think especially for people that were, for everybody, right? But it was trying to do this interesting balancing act, and the promo succeeded. And that this is simultaneously for all the people who grew up with 4, 5, and 6, and you've been waiting all this time. But it was also, I don't know if I had even seen all 3 leading up to this. But for me, at 9 years old, this was, I think, probably the biggest movie cultural event of my childhood. I mean, the only one I'd maybe put even close to it was maybe the Pokemon movie. But like in terms of like media trying to tell you this is important, and even like I had teachers telling me this was important. This was a big deal.
Not to interrupt you, but this movie, I don't remember the movie that I went to see, but this movie was such a big deal that I remember our set falling apart.
It's the Force.
Like it just, this movie was such a big deal that when the trailer for this movie came out, pre being able to access trailers on the internet, I remember the the movie that the trailer was attached to. I don't remember the movie, but that movie went nuts that weekend.
Waldo's Big Zone.
Because people were going just to watch. I was included in that. I remember seeing
You didn't
the
want to see
trailer.
Waldo's Big Zone.
No, I didn't care. I don't care about Waldo. I remember seeing the trailer and just being floored.
You went
Just
to,
like, this
Waldo's
is
Big
it.
Zone, though, right?
Oh, I never miss it. But no, I mean, and that's what's also interesting about the time is that now the episode 1 trailer would just debut on Twitter. Half the world would like it, half the world would hate it. But like, you were spending $12 to go see
That's
the
right.
trailer.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, because you don't even remember what film it was. Probably wasn't Waldo. So I didn't see this in theaters as best I recall. I did buy it on VHS approximately a year later. I have a soft spot for the film. I think primarily because of the buildup to it. Because the first time I watched the movie, I thought it was a bit of a snooze, primarily about trade. And, you know, that's not what 9 or 10, or Brand, in your case, 8 or 9, Ryan or Bran, are really looking for. It's probably the Star Wars film I've seen most. I saw it as recently as a couple months ago in theaters. So I've now watched this film twice in a 4-month span. All of that to say is that this film is mid-echlorians. It's
Nice. You write that down?
Off top of the head. Off top of the
Man.
head. Just did that now. Even when I'm not great, I'm sharp. But is
Whoa,
it at
stand up. Show everybody your shirt.
Oh, that's it's my pod racing shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the good folks at Box Lunch.
Boy, we might have to
shout out.
steal a similar design for our Force Friday shirt.
No kidding.
Something like that, but it's us, droid racing?
Yeah.
Pod racing?
Pod racing.
Droid racing. We're
Racing.
just hopping on the back
racing,
of R2-D2 and riding them till he bucks. What are we doing?
So,
Not the Kentucky Derby brand.
trying to
like,
stop
come on.
me from a good time.
Brain, are you drunk?
Yeah.
Stop me from a good time.
Water's nuts, dude.
Brand just on the back of C-3PO, or as he calls him, CP-45. Is it at times a plotting political drama? Yes. Is the CGI 1999 bad? They were trying their best? Yeah. But I will say, and listen, people aren't going to like this, including maybe someone on this set. The highest, most exciting parts of this film are more exciting than A New Hope by miles. By miles. It's droid racing. You've influenced me terribly.
Oh,
Brent.
man.
Pod
You're
racing. Pod racing and the last 30 minutes of this film are utterly electric. Those two set pieces, which account for, I think, almost half the running time of the film, are really, really, really fun, and I think they all hold up. I said, I don't think Jake Lloyd's that bad. I really don't. The biggest wait what, although I'll just say it here, we've already touched on it. Darth Maul is maybe the coolest design of any villain ever.
Gosh.
Cooler than Darth Vader. Darth Vader's just a guy in a helmet.
Yes.
Dude, Darth Maul's so cool.
They nailed Darth Maul, the saber, the name, he has a cool nickname. It's the name of the film, and he's in the film for 15 minutes, maybe.
Not getting his backstory is... I mean, I'm sure on some sort of
No. They
thing.
do. Listen, I've been corrected on this so many times, and it drives me nuts. People are like, well, in the Clone Wars, you get to hear that he's not really dead, and blah, blah, blah.
I don't
Guys,
wanna.
Stop it.
Exactly.
Here's the
don't
thing.
need it.
And in no other movie that I like love and care about do I have to go to something that's not a part of the actual movie franchise to understand I don't want to have to do extra work in order to understand who somebody is.
I mean, we'll get to this when we do Phase Fridays for Marvel, but I think that's
Of
a common
course.
complaint about. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's nice. You just can.
Man. I don't know.
Well, we'd have to segment it out. But listen, I think one thing I do disagree with about this film, I'm rounding home, I promise. A lot does happen. A lot of things happen in this film. I mean, we talk about political trade a lot, but there's things that happen. I just don't know if we're ever led to care about them as much as we should. The best way I would put Phantom Menace is that it probably would have made for a really, really great Star Wars novel that came out between Jedi and whenever Episode 1, whatever it would have been, comes out. As a film, although the highest points of it for me are amazing, the movie's just okay. Brent.
I'll be a little bit shorter. I know people got back to school supplies to get to. I agree that Jake Lloyd, not as bad as I was promised. And as somebody who watches Jingle All the Way every year religiously, I much better in Star Wars Episode 1 that he is
Wow.
in Jingle All the Way. In my opinion.
That's my Qui-Gon.
I agree. The two things in this movie that are exciting are the racing scene, which I thought was such a blast, and not putting. We talked so often about in these movies how amazing the music is. John Williams and phenomenal. Not putting music behind the race, I thought was a brilliant move. I thought it actually really put the race front and center, and I thought it was really cool, and I really enjoyed it. And the fight scene at the end, Darth Maul, phenomenal. Not enough Darth Maul. Because here's the thing. Guys, Ryan, you said, man, 9-year-old isn't able to follow along with the Trey stuff. Is brand now today. I was like, get to the thing. Where's Darth? Like, Maul, give me that guy. I just, boy, howdy, didn't care about all that. And if it wasn't for some very well-written synopses on Wikipedia and IMDb, your boy here, I don't even know if I got it right, but I tried to use some of their stuff. I felt like they had some good stuff, good pointers there. What was going on? I just didn't care about that. But as these movies go, between the race and the fight scene, if that's all that you remember about Episode 1, you're like, man, Episode 1's dope, like amazing, because those two scenes I thought were absolutely electric. Unfortunately, it is in between a lot of stuff I just couldn't care less about, and so that's tough. I'm having a tough time with this one, but justice for Jake Paul. I mean,
Justice for Jake Paul? Shut it down. Just quit. Justice for Jake Paul.
you know, I stand by it.
Justice for Jake Paul.
Oh, man.
Wow. Man. The droid racing has gotten to you. Did you rank these, Ryan?
No.
You got to.
I'll
That's
go.
the bit.
I'll go.
No, I'll do Empire, Jedi, Phantom Menace, New Hope.
You've got to be out of your mind.
You said 5, 6, 1, 4?
Yes. That's exactly what he
5,
said.
6, 1, 4. Yeah.
Me as well. Same.
Let's
I thought it was
go!
going to be a bold take. 5,
We're
6, 1, 4.
nothing but predictable brand. Let's go.
The guys that were
Justice for Jake Paul. Let's go.
the guys that were 9 when this movie came out have it ranked ahead of the original Star Wars. So big surprise there. I did look up something, Brand. The trailer of this movie is very historic for a number of reasons. It basically, I mean, I'm giving
Waldo's Big Zone.
It wasn't. It was Meet Joe Black and The Water Boy. Those are the two movies.
Oh, Waterboy.
But it also is the trailer that launched what it meant to watch a movie trailer online and react to it. Like literally, like this movie, you can go look up how historic this trailer is. Really big deal. For my hot take, which is going to be as long as both of theirs were, I'm going to read you the first paragraph of the opening scroll of all 4 movies.
How very brand of you.
I had my
movies.
Of all 4 movies.
This may come as a shock to no one. My wife wanted to watch this because she has fond memories of this one, and she read it to me, which was really sweet.
The first, A New Hope. It's a period of civil wars in the galaxy. A brave alliance of underground freedom fighters has challenged the tyranny and oppression of the awesome galactic empire.
Pretty good.
Empire Strikes Back. It's a dark time for the rebellion. Although the Death Star has been destroyed, Imperial troops have driven the rebel forces from their hidden base and pursued them across the galaxy.
Gives us a good summary.
Return of the Jedi. Luke Skywalker has returned to his home planet of Tatooine in an attempt to rescue his friend Han Solo from the clutches of the vile gangster Jabba the Hutt.
Sure.
We ready?
Ready.
Phantom Menace. Turmoil has engulfed the Galactic Republic. The taxation of trade routes to outlying star systems is in dispute. That's the first paragraph of the Phantom Menace. Here's the thing, guys. This movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes long. It has the worst, bar none, the worst dialogue that Star Wars has ever offered, and I know that what movies we have coming up. It has the worst dialogue I've ever heard in a Star Wars movie. It has, like...
What dialogue was bad? What dialogue was bad?
You guys have said yippee a ton of times.
Okay.
At one point,
That could have
at
been
one
improv.
point,
It could have been improv.
The whole
It could have been a
midichlorian scene is terrible. Anytime Qui-Gon Jinn has to give an instruction of any kind, it's like, head for that outcropping. It's the
That's
dumbest.
freaking good.
It's the dumbest.
That's good. Do more. Do more. Do more. One more.
no,
Read
no.
read the crow the crawl there.
Turmoil has engulfed the galactic group. Okay, that's it. That's it.
Justice for Jake.
Justice for Mike Tyson. Listen, here's the thing. This movie has, bar none, the worst dialogue in Star Wars movie lore history, no question. It has the worst invented character in cinematic history. Jar Jar Binks, every time I watch this movie, I hope that the ship hits him. At the beginning of this movie, the ship is going to hit him and he ducks under it, and I'm like, just hit the ship. Please let him get hit. Spare us of this. Also, the characters and their personalities are tied to dialogue and voices and accents that just are really racist. It is George Lucas at his most George Lucas. It's really unfortunate. You can go read all about that somewhere else. It also has an hour-long decom in the middle of it centered around a pod race. There is an hour of this.
Miracle on Lane 2
Dude, there
is phenomenal.
The pod race itself lasts about 16 minutes, but the pod race portion of this film, from we need a part for our ship to we're leaving Tatooine and we freed Jake Lloyd, that is about an hour. And it is absurd that a movie called The Phantom Menace about baby Darth Vader has an hour-long decom in the middle of it with a 15-minute pod race scene that is fine, but like crazy long for what this movie's trying to do. It has all of that against it. It is not a good movie. It is a really, really unfortunately bad movie. Having said all of that, the last 30 minutes of this movie slaps.
Oh, yeah.
It is, the last 30 minutes of this movie is better than anything in A New Hope and most things in Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back. There's your hot take for the day. The last 30 minutes of this movie they are breathtaking. The back and forth between the battle on the ground in Naboo, the battle in the air to destroy that droid station, and Darth Maul taking on Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. The last 30 minutes of this movie, everything clicks aside from the dialogue delivered by Jake Lloyd and written by George Lucas, which does not deliver. The last 30 minutes of this movie almost makes this movie one that you remember fondly. The problem is that the rest of this movie, pod racing included, the pod race scene is good. My kids, my 8.5-year-olds, edge of their seat the whole movie long, their favorite one by a mile. There's a reason that this movie works for 8-year-olds. I get why it works for 8-year-olds. But make no mistake, you have amazing actors delivering just some of the worst dialogue you've ever heard. Jake Lloyd, he's a great dude. I've heard interviews with him. Wrong place, wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time. Terrible dialogue for an unseasoned actor. Tough spot to be in for Jake Lloyd. I don't blame Jake Lloyd. An hour-long decom in the middle of this. All that to say, Darth Maul, amazing. Last 30 minutes, slap. Still the worst of the four. Don't bring me this Phantom Menace is better than New Hope. That's New Hope erasure. That is ridiculous. Absolutely 5, 6, 4, 1.
It's time for the Delish segment.
Man, I wish. I wish we could bring in those Star Wars Oreos. That'll be great. It is time for all the feels, where we talk about what in this movie gives us those feels. Ryan.
Yeah, I already touched on both. I'll just get a little more hyper-specific when it comes to Darth Maul. Pod racing rules, Darth Maul rules. Shout out to Ray Park. That dude's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that all he had was this 15 minutes. An incredible martial artist, had incredible screen presence. Should have done far more with Darth Maul. Should have done more with Ray Park.
Ray Park literally doesn't do much on screen in the movies in cinematic history, but from 1999 to 2000, he was Darth Maul, and his voice was replaced with someone else's voice. He was the Headless Horseman in Sleepy Hollow, and he was Toad in the first X-Men. So from like 1999 to 2000, dude made bank. And then he just kind of like, he still trains and does all this other stuff, but like as an on-screen star, dude was dynamic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed Jake Lloyd. The people, if you're out
That's
there,
such a crazy
if
take.
you are out there and you spent the early 2000s bullying this kid online, shame on you.
Yes.
Shame on you.
Absolutely.
This kid went out there, and to what Dan said, bad script. He's doing the best he can out there, and I thought that it was endearing. I thought that I had a good time when he was on screen. And you know what? Young Artist Award for Best Performance in a Feature Film. Jake Lloyd, 1999, nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Performance by a Younger Actor. They can't take that from you, kid. They can't take that from you.
Why did he go on to such an illustrious career of nothing?
Because he had mental health issues, Dan.
He didn't need to be in this movie. He had no business being in this movie.
I liked it. I liked it.
He had this kid.
There were jerks online that bullied this poor kid.
But
we don't know what he could have become.
The kid should have never.
We don't know what he could have become.
He should have never been in this movie. It was a bad script with an actor who didn't know how to deal with the pressure of being in Star Wars. Everyone who was involved in casting should have known better. The one thing you said that's true there is it's not his fault. This is legendarily unfortunate what happens.
He's an award winner. It's more than I can say for myself. I haven't won a decade.
Yeah, we get nominated every year for
I haven't won a decade.
Can't bring one home.
So
yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Dano?
Duel of the Fates. I know we talk about John Williams all the time, but literally, John Williams is still in his 50s at this point, I think, or 60s. I don't know. He's written Jaws. He's written Close Encounters. He's written Jurassic Park. He's written not Jurassic Park. Yeah, Jurassic Park, all the original Star Wars, Indiana Jones. This guy is the best of the best, and you're like, he's coming back to do Phantom Menace. There's no way. The movie's not as good. There's no way he could hold my beer. He gives you Duel of the Fates, which may be, for my money,
great track,
the best score in all of Star Wars. He absolutely crushes the music at the end of this movie. Oh my goodness!
How many people do you think they had in the choir that did the?
I don't know.
It sounds like a trillion. It sounds like a trillion people.
What I do know is I've never looked up any Star Wars music to listen to aside from Duel of the Fates. Duel of the Fates is unbelievable. Go John Williams.
Go John Williams, indeed. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with the Wait What? And the Star Wars here on, and start of the week here on Deck the Hallmark. Star Wars Phantom Menace, 40 choral parts you can buy for that song, which means there's 40 parts. You could have even more people singing it. How about that? That's crazy. Let's get to the Wait What. Is where we talk about what in this movie made us go, wait, what? Ryan.
I'm not here to take food off Keira Knightley's table, but they could have just had Natalie Portman do both roles, right? I mean,
for sure.
Like, they could have just done the Parent Trap thing, right?
Dude, talk about stuff that poor Bran. I'm over here confused as all get out. I didn't know what was going on there, and but my wife was she was like, "That's it, dude. This." She knew every switch, and for me, I'm just like, I don't know. It could be anybody. Could be her. Yeah. Could not be her.
When I was a kid, I thought it was both Natalie Portman.
Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah. This was news to me in 2024. So
it's cool they did it. It was just really unnecessary. Yeah. Midi-chlorians, we've already talked about it. They're confusing. I really tried to pay attention this time. I was like Bran during the opening crawl. Like, I really tried to focus.
This is the movie better than New Hope, you guys. Yeah. You guys are really crushing it.
We explained why.
Have you heard about Darth Maul?
Yeah. We all got the Force. We didn't need the Force explained. We all understood it. Like, trying to explain the Force makes the Force less cool.
The entire midichlorians from the time he takes his, I guess, blood to send via Bluetooth over to test.
That's right. That's how it works.
From that point forward, every scene that they talk about that is more excruciating than the prior.
Yeah, and it just digs a deeper and deeper hole. Dan articulated everything on Jar Jar perfectly. I'll let all of that sit there. The only thing I need to add, and he did it once, and I thought maybe I just misheard, and then he did it a second time. They keep having Jar Jar say "how rude," like Jodie Sweetin.
Yeah. I know. I thought that.
Yeah. And then I was like, why didn't you just hire Jodie Sweetin to be comic relief? That would have been like a much better choice. Didn't like that. I totally forgot that.
Can you imagine Stephanie Tanner walking up? How rude.
Rude. It would have been sick. I forgot that Anakin was immaculately conceived. I don't feel like we
Yeah.
talk about that. I don't feel like we talk about that enough in Star Wars
No,
lore.
you didn't. He didn't mention that at all in his synopsis, and it is something that I always forget. And when I was watching the movie, I was like, "Oh yeah, Anakin Skywalker, Immaculate Conception." I forgot about this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
nobody mentions it.
Dude,
Like,
that'll
yeah,
mess
like-
you up as a dad. That'll mess you. It's hard to be a
That's
father.
right. You know, yeah, what are you supposed to do?
What are you
there?
supposed
That's
to-
right.
And then like everyone's surprised that he might be the chosen one. Like he was immaculately conceived. And so this is
Read
not
the
a
Bible.
Yeah, like this is not a knock on Jake Lloyd. I agree with Bran. I won't take it as far as Bran did. I think he's fine. But like the biggest reason to have casted someone other than Jake Lloyd is that Natalie Herschlag is
Here we
8
go.
years older
There we go.
than
Yeah.
Jake
Thank
Lloyd.
you.
And like
Thank you.
they don't do a ton of it. But like they definitely have a few quick scenes where they are building the foundation of the romance that will take over
Cool.
the next 2 films.
Yeah.
But and then they also try to hedge their bets, and there's times where it just seems like she's being his big sister, but that makes it all the more gross.
Yeah.
I literally, it made me second guess everything I knew about Luke Skywalker's parents.
my
I was
thing
like,
is-
do I know who his mom is? Because it can't be her, right? Because she's a lot older than old Annie over there.
But,
Annie, are
like,
you okay?
When they were making this movie, Hayden Christensen was 18 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
He's 18. Natalie Portman's like 18 when they made this movie.
She's 17. I looked
Yeah,
up, but that's
why-
I think the film is trying to have you think that she's only 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah,
But in
14
real life,
and 9 is what they're trying
Yeah.
to push, which I
Jake
guess
Lloyd
still
is
gross
9.
at that point, but
Yeah,
you know.
but Natalie Portman's 7. Like, so in real life, there is it's just gross. Like, Star Wars is gross. Lee, clip that off.
Yeah, but
Star Wars is
also
gross. There's weird stuff in there.
You cut to episode 2, and Anakin has turned into a different human being, and Amidala, same exact person, looking the same exact way. It's wild. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
used
I
to
mean,
be a
have you
punk-
seen his count, like his DNA test?
Yeah, it's
nuts.
midichlorians. Yeah, but-
and it causes you really quickly to.
But also, I just want to be clear on the reasons that Jake Lloyd shouldn't have been in this movie. You do need to add that. That's an important part of this. Not only that, but he's in a tough spot as a kid who's supposed to be like future gonna marry this girl. Like it was just a lot. Just a lot
And
there.
the other thing, Dan, like to that point, 100 times out of 100, cast Natalie Portman. Just find somebody 14 years old.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and what you're saying is the age gap. That's not a big age gap when you're an adult. That age gap was weird because of the two
yeah.
people that they hired.
Yeah.
Totally. Yes. I mean, yeah,
But I will say, in their defense, his dad is Turbo Man. So
Yeah.
when you kind of think through that, that kind of like he doesn't need the doll
That's right.
because he's got the real thing at home. So
Put the Wookiee down.
put the Wookiee down.
oh man, what did we just do there? That's great.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Here to help.
Anything else, Ryan?
No, that's it for me, Bran. I'll kick it to you.
I will say there is something about knowing that the boy who will eventually become Darth Vader saying yippee multiple times. Just, it made me happy. You always think about Darth Vader as being this miserable sack who gave in to the dark side. But when he was a kid, he said yippee too, just like you and me. He said yippee
He said
as
it
well.
in a way no kid has ever said it before.
Yippee!
How many takes you think? Let's get one more, Jake.
Give it a little different this time. Yeah.
A little bit different. Yippee. I have we're in election year and we're having a good time, right? Whoever is the next president of the United States, whoever it is, I would request that as they're looking out over everybody and they're about to be sworn in, you just go, "We're going to be friends," blah, because that's what happens in this movie, and I thought it was really great.
Yeah.
He's fun, isn't he? Blah. Not enough people do that when they're like standing in front of a crowd. They don't look at the crowd and go, "We're going to be friends." Blah. And I like that. I wish it would happen more often. We did talk about him saying it's on automatic pilot.
You stand by that? You think that
No.
was just George Lucas writing that?
100%.
You think he would have had a problem with the actor making a choice to say it's on autopilot, like a normal human being that's not a robot?
It is on him for not catching it. It is.
Yeah. At some
You would
point,
not say it.
At some point, the actor's job is to do a good job.
Okay.
Okay.
But either he wanted him to say it's on automatic pilot or not.
A better director and editor is going to catch it and make sure he says autopilot. That's not what I'm saying. You said Jake Lloyd's a delight.
I think he's a delight.
He's not a delight because they don't do a good job with him.
I don't think that's his fault.
He still has to be responsible for his performance, Bran.
If he was given the line.
But Bran, when somebody does a bad job, you could always say this.
My problem is not on how he said it. My problem is with him saying automatic pilot.
But how he says it is like somebody that's never spoken English before.
Oh, no, I thought that was fine.
No.
It was the line, automatic pilot. That's a weird line.
Gives a bad performance
No, it's a bad,
people around him.
bad line. No one says that.
You two are adorable when you argue. It's just so cute.
Obi-Wan hung on the ledge there for 10 seconds and then just popped up real quick. He could have done that any time. He could have been more helpful than he was, and young Ben chose not to. Did he have it out for Qui-Gon? Who can say? I don't know.
He's just resting in between sets. Yeah, that's all he was doing.
I'll just hang out there.
Right, in between 4 sets.
And then shout out to this line, which seemed very on the nose. Impossible. Nothing can get through our shields. I mean, have I got more? Wait until you find out what happens later on. You're gonna have a lot of problem with your shields.
Give it a few years.
A lot of problem with shields.
It's shield stuff.
You would now that we know that they've had problems with their shields.
Yeah,
they've had shield problems for a long time.
There's always something with the shield.
It's always something with the shields.
Yeah.
Dano.
I'll limit any more Jake Lloyd talk, or Jake Paul for that matter, to one more scene. This child who's lived his entire memorable life in slavery is freed, and upon hearing this, his reaction is equivalent to finding out you're having leftovers for dinner. He is like, really? You mean it? That is his entire reaction. I've never seen a more muted reaction to the fact that he no longer has to do the thing he thought he was going to have to do his entire life than what happens in this movie after this pod racing scene. It's crazy. Early in this movie, I wrote, there are no wait what so far because this movie spends most of its runtime explaining itself. And that is very true. Before we get to the pod race, most of this movie is explaining why we are doing things, why midichlorians and force and trade. And it's unbearable. It's really why Jar Jar didn't get hit by the ship. I'm still trying to figure that one out myself.
Why do you think they did the whole, what is it, midichlorian? Because they don't talk about it at all that I know of.
George Lucas is trying to make 3 movies. He's trying to make a movie that competes with Star Wars on the action front. He's trying to make an origin story of Darth Vader, and he's trying to sell toys to kids. And he does none of them successfully, but all 3 have their moments. That is the thing that's going on in this movie. He wasn't checked. He didn't have Irving Kershner to come in and be like, maybe we should say autopilot instead of automatic pilot. He doesn't have he doesn't have Lawrence Kasdan to write a better script. He has a hodgepodge beluga of an hour and 15-minute decom in the middle of a midichlorians, this guy's better than all of you, and Darth Maul kicks tail but never gets screen time. That's what happened.
But no, they never ask Luke, hey, let's show me your count.
That's right.
What's your deal there?
No. The idea that we give one single solitary care about how many midichlorians every Jedi has is hysterical.
The council's like, whoa.
We don't even know it's like the pollen count. We don't even know what a high number would be.
Don't know.
We just see the scale and it's like, Greenville's off the scale. What does that mean?
It's like when they raise a lot of money in a Hallmark movie, but they're afraid to tell you the number because they don't know if it's high enough.
It's like, this is Spinal Tap. This one goes to 11. Whatever Anakin's midichlorian level is, make that the top of the scale so that we have a reference point for midichlorians and why we care and why they matter. It's ridiculous. So with as many midichlorians as he has, he's still 9 years old, and Qui-Gon looks right at him and goes, when you're out there racing your podcast, don't think. And I feel like...
Did you say your podcast?
I'm sorry, your pod race. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I thought it was intentional.
Justice for Jake Paul.
We've been racing this podcast for a long time without a care in the world.
When you're out there racing your pod, don't think. Don't do it. I know you're 9 years old. There is some strategy involved that's more than just the force. Like, he's got to fix his pod on the fly. Like, a lot's happening there. You probably need to be better about it. And then last but not least, all movie long, Padme and Amidala are kind of switching back and forth, as we know, we talked about. And the time that Amidala chooses to reveal that she is actually the queen is when they're talking to the Gungans.
Yeah.
There's so many important parts in this movie where this would be helpful information. And she's like, this is the one. This is the one.
Yeah.
What's going to get this deal over the finish line? What if I reveal the biggest secret that I have of all time?
Yeah.
Maybe that'll do it. That's all I got.
It's time for Star or Wars, where we talk about things and how they kind of fall into different categories. Ryan?
Yeah, I'm at war.
Yeah.
You just gotta wonder. Like, I'm asking you both this. You can't know. How many other drafts of this movie do you think they were? Like, how do you think George landed on this? Because again, I have this ahead of New Hope, but like, Dan, to your point, at no point he must have had people read this, and no one was like, I've been watching movies a long time. I just don't know if trade talk is the most interesting thing in the world for a 10-year-old. Like,
it is a great point. And in my head, this is purely conjecture. In my head, here's how it happened. George Lucas finished Return of the Jedi, decided he was done. And then from 1983 to 1995, every time he was driving around in his car, whatever it was, he'd be like, if I ever made another one, it was a prequel, I'd do this. And all those ideas started to have like a log jam in his head. Because you do that when you're like, if I ever got to go back and do this, like when I coached basketball a long time and stopped, I would think like if I coached basketball again, I would implement this or this. George Lucas gets 12 years to sit on the most popular movies ever made. And then he finally is like, I'm going to do the prequels. And then all of it just comes out as vomit on a page. It doesn't have a direct through line. It gets lost trying to be all things to all people. And so, yes, the one group of people that are going to continue to bang the drum for this movie are the people that are your age. Those people that's if you were born from 1990 to 1995, this is your jam. It still is your jam. You'll defend it to the hilt, even if you didn't see it when you were a kid. That's where it landed. I don't know if that was his plan, but that's where it landed. Anybody older or younger than that, it's like, this movie sucks. But that's where it landed. Like that's what
it's the
ended up
Jake
happening.
Paul effect.
Yeah, Jake Paul effect.
I've said that for years.
Yeah, I know you have. I also have a Wars, and it's just that I'm so mad that this is it that with Darth Maul. Like,
Yeah.
the
Well,
cool,
it's not actually it.
Go ahead.
We've seen Solo.
That's true. I'm just saying, if I've been waiting all these years, and we get this amazing baddie, and I have been conditioned to believe that we're gonna have a bit of an arc with this bad guy. If Darth Vader has anything to say, then we're gonna get to know him a little bit, and then we're really gonna get to see him start to shine. And I'm mad that we didn't get to. I don't even think does he say a word in this movie? I don't know.
Does.
It's
when he's
just
talking to Palpatine.
That's true. That's true. I just what's up with his face? Like that guy.
Horns,
that
everything.
guy didn't have a prayer to be a good guy. Like they didn't even try. They weren't like this guy could maybe we could get him
Is
over.
any good in him?
No.
Man. His name's Darth Maul.
Yeah, he's red and black face with horns. So like crazy character, amazing character, and just a real shame that this is it. And when he gets cut in half, there's still a part of me that's like, maybe he can.
Listen, that's what the Clone Wars is about, apparently.
Maybe he can suction it back to. Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. And then I had another one, which is I was thinking about how much pressure was on this podcast race.
Yes, podcast race.
And Qui-Gon could have interfered via the Force.
Yes.
Especially at the beginning when he's can't start or whatever. Just
yep.
quick
boy. Yep.
And he does nothing.
That's right.
And that's an interesting it's hey, well, let's do this right. A
bet's a bet.
Listen, we're not gonna get into the dark side. A bet's a bet.
That's a bet.
And I could just do a little one of those numbers, but listen, my hands are tied here. We're gonna win or lose.
Or could do a to Zabulba.
Yes. Listen, there's three laps here.
That's
Anytime they come around, just fly him. One of those. Just you could have done all sorts of stuff and didn't do anything. And that's a real guy there. Daniel?
I'm stars this week, and it's really
Nice.
it's one star. It's whoever designed the red beam system there on Naboo. Somebody designed a system where these red beams, they all show up for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and there's something you just kind of look.
You look. You're
look.
caught. They're see-through, but if you touch them, you're dead.
Yeah.
What's that?
A full plate of lasers. And then Every 5 minutes or so, like a drawbridge, whomp, whomp, back out where you can run through, and it'll count you down, and it'll just whomp, whomp. And here's the thing is, I don't know what purpose it serves, but they had to think, when we designed these red beams, if anybody's in like a chase scene or a fight scene, this is going to really up the tension. This is going to really crank that dial up to where, man, people are going to be wondering what's going to happen.
Is somebody like watching on a camera? Like just they got their finger on the button? Like,
Womp.
I don't know.
So great.
I don't know. It's time for Star of the Week. It is where we dive deep into the life of Star that has been submitted to us. Hello at DeckTheHallmark.com if you would like to submit your very own star. Dan, who do we have today?
We have Teeth Mbop. Teeth Mbop.
Can you spell that?
It's T-E-I-F. 2 M's with a dot between either of them. Bop.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Teeth Mbop.
Teeth
Right.
Mbop.
Yep.
First of all, are you from planet Earth?
I am, yes.
Okay. Great.
Alabama.
I'm glad we got Bama. What parts?
Wichita.
Roll Tide on that.
Yeah, Wichita is in Kansas.
My bad. Kansas. Of Kansas, yes.
Got it. I got it.
I've been to Alabama.
Okay,
I thought you
why-
were going to ask that.
Why'd you say you were from Alabama?
I thought you asked a different question.
Okay.
I thought you asked if I'd been there.
Okay. All right. Great. So why are you what are we doing? The star of the week?
Yeah.
What is it about
So
you?
I've been to Alabama.
Okay. A lot of us have. I've been.
Really?
Yeah.
I was told I was the first and only.
You were the first person to visit Alabama.
That's what I was told. That's why I'm a star.
You think it's like just locked? You can't go in and out?
I don't know how they operate. I'm not a part of their governmental.
This seems weak. Seems weak at best here.
I've been there. And I'm there now.
You're there. Okay.
It's hot.
It's hot. Yeah.
Place sucks.
Yeah, it
This
does.
place sucks.
It's tough.
Hey, Teeth.
Yeah, right.
Are you a
Teeth.
big? Sorry, that's my B. Are you a big fan of musical group Hanson?
Mm-hmm. You thought I was going to say Mbop, didn't you? That's my last name. I don't care for the group. No.
How much did you get teased as a kid, Teef?
How old do you think I am?
Oh.
I was 93 when that group came out. I was 93 years old.
You're 123-ish years old?
How do you think I was the first in Alabama?
Alabama's been around a lot longer
Not
than
this
123
one.
years. What do you mean not this one?
I have a specific one.
You were born in 1901?
Yes, exactly. Happy birthday. It's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday,
Teeth.
Teeth.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Teef. What are you doing to celebrate aside from living?
I might go discover another state.
You did not
You
discover.
discovered Alabama.
That's
did
what
not.
I'm a star.
You did not discover Alabama.
Discovered it, found it.
Yeah.
If you go there, you look.
Okay.
You'll see my name.
I think we've had enough, Teef. I think we've had enough.
Thanks, Teeth.
Let's go
Coming
ahead.
for you, Kentucky.
All right. Great. Perfect.
If you have a star that you would like to nominate for Star
Yeah,
of the
please.
Week, you can email hello@DeckTheHallmark.com. We'll try to get them on the line. They're not
Yeah, we'll
always
do
there.
our best. No,
We've
they're
been
not always
lucky so
there.
far.
That's right.
Except for week 2.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. That was a tough week. We'll be back next week with episode 2, which is entitled
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. I think that maybe that name will make sense.
I expect a full defense of Hayden Christensen from both of you because it's not his job to write the movie or direct the movie or edit the movie. So I expect
100%.
Can't always get what you want.
Until then, may the first wish you a Merry Christmas.
The Hallmarks of Ramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to DeckTheHallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to BrambleJamPlus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.